like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
Hi, I'm John Malice, and welcome to this live edition of Connect With Me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Friday morning. It is Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno again, and today we're talking about the Chaffee Zoo. On Monday, they start construction on a gigantic, a huge project that you'll want to know about. And we're going to tell you about it. 436-MeTV option 11, call in. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, do turn down the sound when you call in. Otherwise, we will not be able to hear you. Back in a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
It is a Your Community segment today here on Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno. Remember, call in at 436-MeTV option 11, but do turn down the sound, because otherwise, if you're hanging on the phone there and then you crank up the sound and suddenly you're on the air, you know what? We can't hear you. Anyway, you're going to be excited about our show today, because on Monday, the Fresno Chaffee Zoo breaks ground on a gigantic project. It is so huge, it is enormous. It's 13 acres. It's a $55 million project. We'll ask our guest today where all that money is coming from. But by far, it's the largest undertaking the zoo has ever done. And you know what? This exhibit is going to have the following. It'll have lions, it'll have cheetahs, it'll have rhinos, it'll have African elephants. Let's take a look at the African exhibit. The construction starts Monday.
Africa is coming to California as the African Adventure at Fresno Chaffee Zoo. Your adventure begins in an exotic African botanic garden where you pass through a sculptural herd of wildebeest. It's here when you begin to feel like you're not in California anymore. When you arrive at the Mahali, which is the Maasai word for gathering place, you encounter a panoramic vista with African animals extending as far as you can see across the grassy plain. From here, you have to decide which trail to explore first. This time, you choose the Twiga Trail to get close to cheetahs, vultures, rhinos, and maybe to feed giraffes.
Live in our studio right now is Scott Barton. He heads up, of course, the Fresno Chaffee Zoo. He is here to talk about the African exhibit. The construction starts on Monday. You can call in at 436-MeTV option 11 and ask your question. This thing is huge. It's gigantic. 13 acres, $55 million project. It's amazing to take on this kind of a project with this size. We'll ask them when it's all going to be done, when we can go see it. It'll be exciting. The Fresno Chaffee Zoo, the expansion. Oh, stop it. The Fresno Chaffee Zoo. All right, try to say that 40 times in a row. Anyway, we're back with our guest, Scott Barton, here on Connect With Me on MeTV Fresno.
Now, why don't you tell us the whole story right from the beginning? All right, from the beginning. This is the city, Los Angeles, California. My name's Friday. I carry a badge. Police officers.
You any idea who the other man was?
My partner's Bill Gannon.
Program?
We got just one big question.
Yeah.
When?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
It's the zoo, and Scott Barton is here. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing fine. So this exhibit is amazing, isn't it?
It is. We're really excited about this. This is a huge project for us. It doubles the size of the zoo, and then within that is the first phase of Africa, which is 13 acres. And it brings back the animals that you mentioned, lions, cheetahs, rhinos, brings in a breeding group of African elephants. We'll add meerkats for the first time, a lot of other animals in this area.
If I could only pronounce zoo.
Yes, yeah, well.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air. What's your question? Caller? We can't hear you. Okay, apparently we have a problem, so we'll move on here. Anyway, so this project features so many things. Why did you decide to undertake this project? And by the way, $55 million, where is all that money coming from, Scott? Maybe you can explain that.
So when we were looking at the projects to do, the first projects to do under Measure Z, which is what finances these beautiful new exhibits, these really world-class exhibits.
Yeah.
We looked at a couple things. We wanted to impact our guests as little as possible. Sea Lion Cove went into a space that was somewhat underutilized and worked well. It's about an acre size, but it sat within the existing footprint.
Right.
And then Africa will be able to construct that, again, without impacting our guests. And so they'll be able to come in, enjoy the zoo, and kind of get a glimpse of what's coming in about 18 months.
Measure Z money?
Yes. So in 2004, the community was incredibly generous with the zoo and passed a sales tax, 0.1% sales tax.
Oh, yeah.
And that money
okay.
goes into supporting the zoo. It actually sunsets this year in November, and we hope to go out again, and we hope that the community will pass it again for us.
Hey, I want to take you to an animation that you provided for me here, all of us here at Connect With Me, and our viewers can take a look at that. I appreciate the video, by the way. It comes from your YouTube channel.
Yes.
And this is kind of an animation. It's an aerial shot of what the project is going to look like. That's fascinating.
It is. It's really world class on a variety of levels. Really, some of our designers and people that are very knowledgeable about zoos around the world saying the closest thing to it really is in Germany.
You know, look at that right there. It looks like a golf course almost.
It does. We hope to have grass out with elephants and giraffe and zebra and rhinos on it. So it really gives you a glimpse of what Africa looks like.
Yeah. Another call here. Good morning. You're on Connect With Me. Your question.
Yeah. Good morning, John.
Hi.
Hey, Scott. Listen, I'm a little vague on some of the issues that the question is, how did you pull this off on getting that property, or they voted on it? How did that? Am I right on this particular event, Chaffee Zoo, where at first they didn't want it, the owners or the people that owned it? Am I correct, Scott?
So the city owns the property. It's a city park, and the city has always been supportive of this project. In fact, they're the lead agency on the master plan. But the Rodings, who their grandfather 100 years ago donated the land. The Rodings have lived in Oakland for about 70 years. They opposed the project and hired an attorney and sued us. We won that lawsuit, and so we're ready to move forward now. But our community, we actually did a survey in our community, and over 80% of our community wants us to do this project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Appreciate that. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was a long, hard-fought battle, too, with the Rodings. I remember that, and I was going to ask you about that. But,
exactly. And,
our caller beat
they're
each
gentlemen,
other.
and they're very passionate about parks, which we are as well, and they just want it to remain this open space. And I understand that sentiment, but I think living in Fresno, that some of that space is not as utilized as well as it could be.
So are you expanding into the park?
That's exactly right. So we gain
How
about...
How far into the park are you cutting into that?
The park is about 150 acres, and
Yeah.
the eventual zoo, starting next year, will be 39 acres of that. So the park is still, has open
park's
space.
still going to be there, only
Absolutely.
there'll be less of it, right?
No, we want the park there, and
Right.
we want all these facilities for picnics, for
But the
people to
size
come
of the
and enjoy
park
it.
will shrink, right?
Well, the size of the open space within the park, but the zoo expands. But really, the zoo is driving so much of the interest in Roding Park right now. And again, the community supported this decision, so we're looking forward to giving what
Why
the community
was
wants.
the Roding family against it? Do you have any insight to that?
Well, I think some of it is nostalgic, that they know what their family donated and these beautiful trees. Now, one of the commitments we made is that of the healthy trees in there, we're saving 90% of the healthy trees on this site. So we're going to save 100-year-old Chinese elms and oaks and all these other trees out there.
All right, as I mentioned, you've got lions coming in, you got African elephants coming in. We have another piece of video. Let's roll the videotape, and you can kind of narrate over what you're looking at there.
So one of the challenges when you do these large exhibits is to provide big exhibits for animals, but still have intimacy, so people feel close. One of the ways to do that in this lion exhibit is through glass. So you'll be able to actually get nose to nose with a lion through glass. This tree is an actual tree we represented. In Africa, lions climb trees, but zoos rarely give trees to lions to climb. We located a tree and built the lion exhibit around that so the lions will have something to climb.
Oh.
We're working with San Diego Safari Park and hope to get elephants from them, a breeding group of elephants, so that we can have this image of Africa.
Are the elephants from here or from Africa?
Well, originally from Africa, but they've been in San Diego. They were
I see. They were
bred
brought over.
and well, the original group was, but we would be getting offspring of that group.
Okay, all right. And then you've got cheetahs and rhinos and all the rest. It's an amazing. So part of this undertaking is getting the animals, and how big a project is that compared to actually building the site itself?
So the construction will take about 17 months from start to finish. So we start in Monday, actually, January 6th. From that, we'll need about 2 more months to move all the animals in, because we're not talking about a few animals. We're talking about a herd of elephants and a pride of lions. And
how many elephants will you get?
We're not sure yet. We're working out right now for the social group. So we want to bring in elephants that get along with each other and are socially bonded. And we're probably looking at between 3 and 5 elephants.
Okay. And then lions, how many lions?
Lions, we think we're going to start with a male and 2 females and then breed them so that we actually have lion cubs for people to see.
So we're going to have a breeding ground over there.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I got a call coming in. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question? Hello? Okay. Sorry, we've got to go. That hurt my ear. Anyway, we're going to continue here with Scott Barton. So the animals, just getting the animals is a major project all by itself.
It is. As you can imagine, just moving elephants is not a simple project. The size of the trucks you need and the CHP support and all these things have to be really well coordinated and done. Actually, veterinarians travel with these animals to make sure everything's safe. Often the keepers travel with the animals. So it's done very professionally and with the animal safety and public safety in mind. So it's a major undertaking.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, talking to Scott Barton of the Fresno Chaffee Zoo here on Connect with Me. We do have a phone call coming in, I believe, and let's take it. Good morning. You're on, caller.
Yeah, hi. Maybe you just spoke about this. My question, as the zoo is getting bigger, how are they going? What are they going to do as far as protecting visitors from the outside problems of the park? Because, the zoo is nice, but there's to go on there outside in the park itself.
That's a good question.
Absolutely.
Not connected to the zoo, but.
Absolutely. One of the benefits we see from the zoo is increased attendance. And so the zoo in 2009 had an attendance of about 417,000. This past 2013, we did an all-time record 690,000 guests to our zoo. Because that increased traffic, it actually starts making the park safer. And we have a great security team as well that patrols that. The city's engaged with police. The park is actually really improved in that. In fact, in our night events, which you'd imagine, those would be the hardest times to get people out to Roding Park. Many of our night events are selling out. Safari Night sold out. Our attendance to Zoo Boo is great. Our attendance to Zoo Lights, which just wrapped up, is amazing.
Okay, another call coming in. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. I'm calling to find out if you're going to close the Belmont side of the entrance to the park.
No, we're actually not. So we're going to reroute people, though. What'll happen is you'll come in from the Belmont entrance or the Olive entrance. Both entrances will stay open. If you come in from the Belmont entrance, then you'll go to the left, which has been closed off for bus route. You'll go into the left, and it'll take you immediately to the front of Playland, Storyland, and the zoo. So we actually hope it cuts down on the drive-through traffic in the park and makes the major attractions a little easier to find for people.
Yes, because I was told that it was going to be closed, and I was hoping not, because most of the people park on this side of the park to entrance on Belmont.
Yeah.
Right, so the Belmont entrance will stay open. It just gets modified so you'll go a little bit different route once you enter the park.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Okay,
right.
thank you very much.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thanks for the call. I appreciate it very much. Scott Barton is here. We appreciate his time and effort here because it all starts on Monday, the big construction. So if you go out there and want to just gaze and just look around, you might want to do that as well. It's going to take 17 months to complete. We're back with our show here on Connect with Me, talking about the Fresno Chaffee Zoo in a moment.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Back here talking to Scott Barton of the Fresno Chaffee Zoo. Another call coming in. Good morning, caller. What's your question? Hello? Hello? Okay, nobody there? All right. Scott, I guess the most obvious question is, and our crew had this question too, so during the construction, it'll take 17 months, as we all know. That's almost 2 years, by the way.
It is.
We'll still be able to go to the zoo and enjoy all the sights and sounds.
Absolutely. So the zoo, in fact, most of our guests won't even really notice it other than driving past the construction as they come in. All the exhibits will be open. Not much changes really, except you'll start to be able to catch glimpses of the construction and of the project going on. We'll also have materials up to show what's coming. But other than that, the visit to the zoo stays the same.
I love the zoo. I love taking my kids to the zoo. And I don't know if they, well, I guess, it's kind of for all ages, really. But the only thing that's frustrating to me is sometimes is the traffic going in and out. Is there anything that can be done to try to ease that a little bit?
Well, during the peak times, it does get a little bit busy, but really the park moves pretty quickly. Our entry people get people in pretty quickly. One of the things that's going to help a lot is that the city corporation will move out of their facilities, which will open up a lot more parking within the park, make it a lot easier for people to park, and we think that'll happen this year as well.
Yeah, I don't mind parking far away and walking. I just want to get in and out quickly. Right. But sometimes that can be difficult at any event.
Exactly.
Really.
So this last year, because of this, and we're seeing all-time record attendance, we've added some ticket windows and we've added a membership window, so we can get our membership people in quickly and also deal with larger attendance.
Good morning. You're on Connect with Me, caller. What's your question?
Yes. What about the rides? What's going to happen with all the rides? Are they all going to remain the same? Stay in the same area?
So Playland Storyland is operated by a different nonprofit, and my understanding is not much is going to change immediately. Long term, they actually hope to expand a little bit and improve the Playland Storyland experience as well.
Okay.
Because a lot of those rides are obsolete. Are they going to bring any bigger rides, or they're all just going to remain the same rides?
You know what? I don't actually know specifically what their timeline is, but I know they're developing a master plan to update and improve the facilities.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Anyway, we got another piece of video, and I want to take you to the video now, and you can kind of narrate over it. You'll have several gathering places at the zoo.
Yeah. So one of the things that makes this exhibit unique is that we really want people to come in to sit with their families and enjoy relaxing watching animals. And zoos often don't really take that into consideration.
You got a cafe there.
We have a cafe. We'll actually have even a restaurant that has very nice food, or you can just come in. You don't have to buy anything. You can sit on the patio and look out over this spectacular African scenery.
Another call coming in. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
A restaurant.
Okay, we'll have to. All right, let me just say that if you do call in, you'll have to turn down the sound. We just had a call coming in, and they had the sound cranked up. We can't hear you, and you can't hear us. That's the most important thing. Anyway, what's the exhibit here that we're looking at?
This is the new meerkat exhibit. The zoo's never had meerkats, and they're very popular, of course, with the Meerkat Manor show that's on TV. And so we're bringing meerkats to the zoo for the first time as part of this project also.
And what is a meerkat? Explain it.
So a meerkat is in a group of animals that's related to the mongoose, basically.
Okay.
But they live in colonies. They remind you a little bit of prairie dogs, although they're not related to the prairie dogs. They live in colonies. They have these sentries. They're very cute and very popular.
All right, 436 MeTV, option 11 is the number. But remember, if you're watching television, do crank down the sound because you won't be able to hear our question. We do have one call coming in. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I was wondering, was the money spent for the construction spent on with Valley companies? You know, are they going to do the construction, or is it a outside company coming in and doing everything?
Not only Valley, but we really spend as much in the county as we can. So the general contractor is local and from Fresno. Almost all the subs are local as well. The exception comes when there are products that we can't get from the valley. So I'll give you an example from Sea Lion Cove. That big acrylic panel that you look through for the underwater view, nobody makes that in California. The closest place is in Colorado, and then it's Italy and Japan. And so we purchased that from Colorado. But other than that, as much money as we can spend in the county, we're spending in the county.
Yeah. Can you mention the local contractor that's doing it, or?
This is Harris Construction. Got the one for Africa, and we work with a variety. Zumwalt did the Cobra and Komodo Dragon exhibit.
Is it a bidding process for the most part, or?
It's not a low bid process. What we look at is experience and value together. So we look at people who can deliver a great product on time and on budget, but also local.
Okay, another call coming in before the break. Good morning, you're on Connect with Me. Your question?
Actually, it's more of a statement.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that we should really give Dr. Paul Chaffee the honor and the credit. In the 70s, he used to come in and eat lunch where I worked. And before that, the animals were all in cages. There were no exhibits. And he was not only wonderful for the zoo, he was just a wonderful man. And that everybody should remember him. We wouldn't have the type of facility that the animals have now. So that's all I wanted to say.
Well, I think
and more power to the zoo, and more power to the animals, their natural habitats. That's just wonderful. It was horrible to see the lion's cage pacing back and forth. You know, that was just. You know, that wasn't something I wanted to go see.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. And so we're looking forward to these large new exhibits. I really appreciate your comments about Dr. Paul Chaffee. He hired me for my first zoo job, so I worked with him for about 4 years.
What'd you do?
I was a keeper at that time. I got hired,
really?
and I was also the vet tech at that time.
What year was that?
1980 through 84.
So he hired you?
He hired me, and I agree with you so much. He was not only a great zoo director, he was a great man. He was generous and kind, and just a great guy.
So you've been at the zoo since 1980?
No, I spent 4 years there, and then I kind of went on my own travels around the country, worked at other zoos around the country for 25 years, then came back in 2009 to Fresno.
Where you have been ever since, the zoo director, as they call you, right?
Yeah, they do sometimes.
Happy to be back, right?
I'm very happy to be back. I'm proud of being in Fresno.
Yeah, that's right. And we're proud to have you here, and we are certainly proud to have the Chaffee Zoo here. You know, the attendance was incredible last year, 690,000, up from 580,000 the year before in 2012. And so we got another call coming in. Let's take it. Good morning. You're on the air. Quickly, what's your question?
Yes. I wanted to know, I'm elderly and handicapped, and I don't live in the city, and it's been a while since I've been to the zoo, but I want to come.
Okay.
And I would not be able to walk a long distance to get to the entrance to get a scooter.
Right. So we do have parking that is very close to the entrance. If you needed assistance beyond that, I think we could get a wheelchair or a scooter out to you. We do rent them at the zoo as well. And then, of course, as you move through the zoo, one of the big focuses is having everything ADA compliant. So we're very aware of that and do our best to make sure that the experience is great, regardless of age or ability.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Back with our guest, Scott Barton, here in just a moment.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, And now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean Dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Back here with Scott Barton, we have another piece of videotape here to talk about, and it's the lodge. You can go ahead and explain this. Animated, I just want to point out, this is animated footage of what everything will look like once everything is done.
It is, and it's a true representation of what we expect to come out of this. This is a patio area where you can come with your family and friends and just sit and imagine you're at a lodge in Africa. Watch animals, watch the behavior, enjoy time with your friends. And there's also a restaurant there if you want to buy food. There's restrooms, obviously, and all the amenities.
Yeah.
But just a spectacular experience, even an outdoor fireplace. So on cool nights, we could be open in the evening with a fireplace going, and you could sit out there and look over the savannah as though you were in Africa.
Is that like an outdoor patio cafe there?
It is. It's a big outdoor patio cafe, the outdoor fireplace. And this is one of the things that makes this exhibit really extraordinary is the guest space where you can really enjoy time in this exhibit.
It is really nice, Scott.
It's going to be very nice.
Whoa. Okay, another call coming in. Good morning. You're on.
Yeah, I was calling in regards to the zoo. And when the Measure Z came out, it was to help save the zoo, which indeed it has. And my question is, has money been set aside? Should the Measure Z, once it expires, enough money set aside to maintain what they've done to expand the zoo?
So one of the projects we've been working on in the last couple of years is the contingency plan. So Measure Z comes up again for a vote this November 2014. If it passes,
if it doesn't pass,
right.
Have you set enough funds aside to maintain what you've already started?
Yes, so if it passes, obviously things continue to be great and we continue to do these types of exhibits. If it doesn't pass, what happens? We have a full contingency, and essentially how it affects us is we're going to have to raise our prices a little more. That doesn't mean they become extraordinary. It just means that, yeah, exactly. We'd love to keep them.
But you're still reasonable. What does it cost to get in?
More than reasonable. $7 for adults, $3.50 for children. We haven't raised our prices in 11 years.
Yeah.
But also
the other concern that when the Measure Z came up, it was to maintain status quo. But it seems like since you've had this abundance amount of money, all of a sudden you're expanded. And so in doing such, it seems to me like you need to, now your cost is a lot greater than it used to be prior to the expansion. So you've taken the money which was to maintain status quo, and now you've created a bigger beast. I grant it, what you're doing is great, but it does cost money.
It does. So our operations costs obviously have gone up and will go up with Africa, but our attendance is offsetting that. So really, our projections, and they're public, I'm happy to share them, but the contingency plan calls for modest price increases, really up to about what a movie is, and then looking at the attendance increases. And those do cover the operation costs.
I'm not a mouthpiece for the Fresno Chaffee Zoo, nor am I a spokesperson for the city, but those prices are reasonable.
They're very
because you'll pay a lot more they're equivalent to going to a movie, for the most part.
Well, I paid $11 last time I went to a movie. So,
but if you go to a matinee,
if you go to a matinee, that's true. Yeah. So basically, a family of 4 right now can go to the zoo for $21, which is a pretty good deal.
We've got 1 minute left. I want to show this and explain this.
All right.
You do weddings at the zoo.
We do weddings at the zoo, and this is especially fun because this is a mock wedding. This was done with all of our staff. The bride and groom are 2 of our keepers who don't even date, and they just were the best sports in doing all of this. So, but
the
this
purpose of this was doing what?
To market the zoo as a place where you can do spectacular weddings, beautiful weddings.
So quickly, we got 30 seconds left. I know it's go to the zoo and get married. Well, what else can you do at the zoo?
We've done lots of weddings at the zoo. Proms. We've done corporate events where we rent the zoo out. We've done private parties. We do birthday parties.
School visits.
We do special events. We just finished Zoo Lights, which was our busiest Zoo Lights of all the
So you
history.
can rent the whole zoo
for
a party?
Absolutely.
Holy cow. Hey, quickly, the lions will have how big a space to run in?
I think it's almost an acre just for the lions. Yeah, it's spectacular.
I do want to see the lions. Scott Barton, you haven't been here in a year.
I know.
You know, come back soon.
I will.
All right.
Okay,
We'll have
well,
you on
thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you for your time. I know how busy you are. I appreciate it. Scott Barton, the director of the Fresno Chaffee Zoo, and we're going to be back again on Monday with another live edition. Hey, the man who heads up Univision is going to be here Monday. Have a great weekend. See you back here on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno.